I'm Carlene Thissen. I live here. This is my good friend Laura Leary. And another good friend, Ben Baker. And Carl Granieri, who's a new friend. So I'm gonna show some slides, and we're gonna sing some songs, and should be roughly 2 hours. But like I said, if Laura said I shouldn't say this. Okay, we're gonna be talking about Judy Collins, Joni Mitchell, and Joan Baez, who were actually Bob Dylan was my influence and my favorite guy, but it's kind of hard for a chick to sing Bob Dylan. So I became a Baez fan, and from the time I was 11 years old, I learned everything she sang by Bob Dylan, and then some other things. So this show is historical, and it's musical, and hopefully it's going to be pretty fun. So this is me. I called myself East Coast Hippies. People would always say, well, where's the flowers in your hair? And I said, no, that was California. In New Jersey, we were plainer than that. But that's me. That's up in New Hampshire, actually, in the White Mountains, I think. And there I am, singing in somebody's tent, who knows? And I was at Woodstock, and I have a whole separate additional show to this one that is just with songs from Woodstock and my memories. And I actually have memories from Woodstock. And Ben and I have done that show often together, so hopefully we'll be able to maybe do it here. So I'm going to just start with a song I wrote about Woodstock and these times, and it's called Back There Again. Kaleidoscope colors along gentle paths, dreams of helping the poor. Peace, love, and music, blonde hair and blonde hash, protests against the war. Rawhide on her wrist, waking to watch the lake and the mist. There was no doubt this was where she belonged, and she sang all night long. In a fringe leather jacket, a peace sign on a necklace, bell-bottom jeans covered with patches, a ticket to Woodstock, a guitar she named Alice. Precious reminders of candles and rain. She just wants to go back there again. 71, the magic was over, time to grow up and move on. She forgot all the dreams that drove her. Farewell, Angelina, you're gone. She cut her hair and got a career, and lost herself for 30-odd years. Sometimes she remembers and sings old folk songs, and sometimes she longs peace sign on a necklace, bell-bottom jeans covered with patches. Sometimes she plays the guitar she named Alice, with blessed reminders of candles and rain. She's found her way back there again. Thank you.
That was one of Carlene's originals.
Yes, it was. It is autobiographical. Someone said that to me after I sang it. Oh, like he was being like really smart in an odd way. But I bet that's your autobiography. I said, it is. Tim, could you, from wherever you are, turn down this monitor? It's a bit loud. Where is Tim? Oh, Tim left.
He's sitting out there at this memory. And I could use more in mine.
Oh, well, that's what we need. Okay. All right, so now let's get on to a little bit of history and an introduction. I have so many people, younger people, who say to me, you were so lucky to be at Woodstock. You were so lucky to live in those wonderful times. And I started thinking about those wonderful times. They weren't wonderful at all. But we did get some really good music. So we had the Cold War, JFK was assassinated, Vatican II, women's rights, farm worker rights, civil rights, and Vietnam. Those were not happy days. But the music from these ladies and the other folk singers of the time helped inspire and calm us. But take a look at this. So how many of you, well, you don't have to raise your hands, we just can tell by how old we are, got in those positions during the Cold War and knelt down and waited for the bombs to come. We had drills, right? That was a bizarre thing. And Castro taking over Cuba, Bobby Kennedy, the Pope with Vatican II, civil rights, Vietnam War, Bobby Kennedy and the farm workers, women's rights, and again, the Vietnam War. And I love this quote. This was from an article about Muhammad Ali, which doesn't really relate to the quote, but it says, the Stoic generation that had fought World War II returned home to raise children who became defined by rebelliousness, impatience, and unwillingness to accept things the way they were. And I was one of those children, and I have no doubt that there's 2 or 3 more of them on the stage. So, hold on a second, I just did something wrong. Got it. Okay, wow, God, I'm good. All right, so let's talk about these ladies. Judy Collins, and they're not in the order in which I esteem them. Actually, Baez is my girl, but it just, the alliteration seemed to work out better that way, so that's why I did it. Judy Collins, she was born May 1st, 1939. She had polio when she was 10, and so did Joni Mitchell. She had tuberculosis when she was 20 years old. She was a classical piano prodigy at age 13, and so was Joni Mitchell. And Woody Guthrie and Pete Seeger's music lured her into folk music. Okay, and so she suffered from polio, depression, alcoholism, drugs, and she talks very openly about that. Okay. So I think we should do Turn, Turn, Turn. And feel free to sing along on the choruses for this. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to love, a time to weep. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time that you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to rend, a time to sow, a time to love, time to hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. And a time for every purpose under heaven. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, okay. Hang on a second. All right. Judy Collins. We talked about, she got sober in 1978 and she quit smoking at age 30, which Joni Mitchell never has. But she had a child who committed suicide when he was 33, and his name is tattooed on the outline of a tattoo on her wrist. And she loves emotional truth in lyrics. And we're just gonna have Carl on the, oh, I keep shutting my phone and it's taking away the slides. But I'm just gonna sing this with Carl. Judy Collins' father was a radio announcer and was partially blind. He never worked in a mine, and he never lived in Paris, and yet she wrote this perfectly beautiful song, so that we'd like to sing for you now. My father always promised us we would live in France. We'd go boating on the Seine, and I would learn to dance. We lived in Ohio then, and he worked in the mines. On his dreams, like boats we knew, we'd sail in time. All my sisters soon were gone to Denver and Cheyenne, marrying their grown-up dreams, the lilacs and the men. I stayed behind, the youngest still, only danced alone. The colors of my father's dreams faded without a sound. And I live in Paris now. My children dance and dream, hearing the stories of a miner's life in words they've never seen. I sail my memories of home like boats across the Seine, and I watch the Paris sun set in my father's eyes again. My father always promised us we would live in France. We'd go boating on the Seine, and I would learn to dance. I sail my memories of home like boats across the Seine, and watch the Paris sun set in my father's eyes again. Thank you. Thank you very much. Beautiful, Carl. Thanks. Okay, let's see. Let's see where we go next. I can't believe I've actually got the PowerPoint on my phone that's connected back there to my laptop, thanks to the magic of Tim, our sound guy extraordinaire. Okay, so here's a quote about Judy Collins. She used to stand on stage and close her eyes and just sing songs one after the other. But when she got sober in 1978, she began to speak. I found out I had an awful lot to say, which I had not realized, she said. And so she has incorporated her political and social ideologies into her music now for a long time. She's been a representative of several nonprofit organizations, including UNICEF, and as well as a long-time advocate for suicide prevention, mental health awareness, and stigma reduction. And this is Judy. She was 82 when I took these pictures, but she's 84. And for those of you who wonder, which I always did, oh my God, her hair is so beautiful. How does she do that? They're wigs. Isn't that you probably don't even want to know that. But yeah, I need a sip of water. Yeah, she had an operation on her hand that messed up her hair. And she had the most beautiful hair, and she didn't like it anymore, so she just started wearing wigs. Excuse me. Oh, am I? Oh, well, that is the next one anyway. Thank you, Laura. No, good. But I saw her here. She was in Naples just before COVID. She has a friend here, and she arranged to have a non-advertised concert at the community theater, which is really nice, community school up on Pine Ridge Road. And so she admitted a lot of these things. And it was so amazingly wonderful to actually see her on stage, and she's very cool, and her voice is in pretty good shape. So for 84, and we'll talk a little more about that in a bit. So let's first sing "Someday Soon." Oh, and what I found interesting too in researching this stuff. She was very heavily involved with Stephen Stills, and he wrote Sweet Judy Blue Eyes for her and different songs, and he was the one that convinced her to record Someday Soon by Ian and Sylvia. Ian, what's Ian's last name? Tyson. Thank you, Tyson. All right. So Someday Soon. What?
It is up there. I didn't cheat.
You knew. There's a young man that I know, his age is 21. Comes from down in southern Colorado. Just out of the service, and he's looking for his fun. Someday soon, going with him. Someday soon. My parents cannot stand him, 'cause he rides the rodeo. My father says that he will leave me crying. I would follow him right down the toughest road I know. Someday soon, going with him. Someday soon. And when he comes to call, does it well. And when he comes to call my pine, got a good word to say. Guess it's 'cause he was just as wild in the younger days. So blow you blue northern, blow my love to me. He's riding tonight from California. He loves his damned old rock and roll as much as he loves me. Someday soon, going with him. Someday soon. Someday soon, going with him. Someday soon. Thank you very much. Oh boy, okay. I have not used my voice this much in a very long time. I'll see how long it lasts. It is a nice little rest, actually, just talk for a minute. Okay, I know there's a lot of words on. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Okay. Judy Collins and Stephen Stills, nearly 5 decades ago, sparked a romance that was passionate and volatile enough to enter rock and roll lore. Their private connection became public after Stills, rejected by Collins, and continuing to be rejected by her up until today, and Helplessly Hoping. We should do that sometime, Laura. And so anyway, it's Helplessly Hoping and Sweet Judy Blue Eyes both ended up on the first Crosby, Stills and Nash album in '69. 3 years later, he recorded another piece about their relationship that said, "So Begins the Task," which is another song I should probably do because I really like it. But it addresses the hard labor of accepting rejection. And she recorded and released her own version of the same song in less than 12 months. So today, Judy is still touring with Stephen Stills. She's on stage 120 nights a year. And on December 8th, she's going to be at Woodstock, the original Woodstock in Bethel, the Bethel Arts Center, Music and Arts Center. And she'll be singing on the hill overlooking where I was at the original Woodstock. And they have a fabulous album. Stephen and Judy, this is a great album, Stills and Collins. And I mentioned earlier about voices. This is one thing about this kind of music is when audiences come to hear her perform, they are transported. They're thinking about their youth, they're thinking about hopefulness, and they're thinking about their dreams when they hear me. And I think sometimes that happens to me too, because of that music. But Judy's vocal coach and activist Max Margulies, once she convinced him that she wasn't a flighty folk singer, which is probably what he would have thought of me, but a serious person. They studied together for 30 years. And his technique was not about the mechanics of how you sing, whether you sing from your head or your chest or your lungs. My vocal teacher had me singing from my stomach. But it focused more on the clarity and the precision of her phrasing And that vocal coach said, the voice is actually supposed to last forever. And hers still is. How is that happening? Now watch. Tim, help! Oh, there we go. A labor-saving device. I like it. And I love this picture. This is a picture. Judy Collins became pretty famous as a singer, and Joni Mitchell was just a writer. And so Judy would record Joni's songs. And I love this picture of Joni Mitchell just staring at Judy like, wow, are you amazing, right? But anyway, Judy Collins made this song famous, and Joni wrote it. And we're still, I'm dying to try if I can write on this, but I don't want to do it. I'll try it afterwards. Okay, this is Both Sides Now. It was on the Clouds. I think it was on Joni's Cloud. It was either called Clouds or it was on the Clouds album. But in any case, it goes like this, and I'm sure you all know it. Goes and flows of angel hair and ice cream castles in the air and feathered canyons everywhere. I've looked at clouds that way, but now they only block the sun. They rain and snow on everyone. So many things I would have done, clouds got in my way. I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from whip and down, and still somehow it's clouds' illusions I recall. I really don't know clouds at all. Moons and Junes and Ferris wheels, the dizzy dancing way you feel as every fairy tale comes real. I've looked at love that way, but now it's just another show. You leave 'em laughing when you go, and if you care, don't let them know. Don't give yourself away. I've looked at love from both sides now, from win and lose, and still somehow it's love's illusion you. Thank you very much. What wonderful musician friends. And we're all friends, and they're so talented that they play with me, which is great. Ow. I gotta put this down just for a second and take another sip of water. Yeah. You're right. Okay. Moving on. Joni Mitchell. And Joni is the one I knew the least about back in the day. And I think, again, it was mainly because I was such a Dylan fan and I was really into protest music. And Joni she wasn't much of a protester, except for the environmental Big Yellow Taxi kind of songs. Have I lost my scarf? I think I did. Thank you. So, Joni Mitchell, born in 1943 in Saskatoon, and her main interest was painting. She studied classical piano, just like Judy did, and she had polio, just like Judy did. That led to, Joni does, when she travels, she takes like 19 or 30, some bizarre number of guitars with her, because she tunes them all differently. And it turns out she tunes them all differently because she had polio. And it's really hard for her to play the standard chords, which I thought was fascinating, because I think she could do anything. But she loves painting, and I also read, she was doing a concert in Central Park one time, and she was sitting, making paintings of the audience, drawings and paintings, and they had to almost like drag her up to the stage. It's like, no, you have a concert to do, that's what you're doing here. So she designed most of her album covers, which are really fun. And she smoked since she was 9 years old, and she still does. We can't really tell if it ever hurt her voice. My vocal teacher said that Caruso was a chain smoker all of his life with that voice, and he never stopped. And Joni, she had a daughter, by the way, that she gave up at birth because she didn't think she could really take care of her, and then she reunited with her later. And I'm going to talk about loves of their lives. I mentioned Judy Collins, and Judy was Stephen Stills and Leonard Cohen, and remember any other? There was, I think, one more big one. Joni, on the other hand, that was Leonard Cohen, Graham Nash, Stephen Stills, the one she still spends time with, and James Taylor. And I love James Taylor. And so anyway, Joni wrote this song called River, and I will tell you at the end of it what James Taylor said about, the question is, whose heart did she break that made her write this song? So we'll, I think, just do this one on the piano. Oh, while you're, Carl, I don't mean to stop you. You could just play quiet for a second. I forgot to mention the Washington Post, when this song came out and became a big hit, said it is the most thoroughly depressing Christmas song ever written. Okay. It's coming on Christmas, they're cutting down trees, putting up reindeers, singing songs of joy and peace. I wish I had a river I could skate away on. But it don't snow here, it stays pretty green. I'm gonna make a lot of money and then I'm gonna quit this crazy scene. I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I wish I had a river so long I would teach my feet to fly. I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I made my baby cry. He tried hard to help me, you know, he put me at ease. And he loved me so naughty, made me weak in the knees. I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I'm so hard to handle, I'm selfish and I'm sad. Now I've gone and lost the best baby I ever had. I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I wish I had a river so long I would teach my feet to fly. Wish I had a river I made my baby say goodbye. It's coming on Christmas, they're cutting down trees, putting up reindeer and singing songs of joy and peace. I wish I had a river I could skate away on. Thank you. And this is the punchline, sort of, to River. These were some of her many loves, and I heard James Taylor interviewed a couple of years ago about her. He's still in love with her. And the interviewer said, "Who do you think she wrote that song about?" And Taylor said, "There are a lot of us." So a lot of people loved her. And social activism, she really didn't do much, as I mentioned, protest songs. I also heard her interviewed about Bob Dylan, and she says, "Oh yeah, you'll rot in your grave. I'm not gonna sing songs like that." She was entertaining the troops during the Vietnam War. So Joni was in a whole different place. And, Big Yellow Taxi was in the wrong place for a reason when we went over our files earlier. I think I'd rather do Circle Game. Are we all right, everybody?
Yep.
Okay? All right. And speaking of people who were in love with her, she wrote this song for Neil Young. And he was quite a bit younger than she, like young, like 14. And she knew him. I love the fact these people all hung out together, right? I wish I could have been there. But in any case, Neil there was some place up in upstate New York where he wanted to play, but he was too young. And then as time went on, then he became too old. And so he never did get to play at this place. And, but anyway, she wrote this circle game for Neil Young. And let me go. And what did he say? Sweet Joni from Saskatoon, don't go too soon. So he was clearly smitten. Okay, circle game. Yesterday a child came out to wonder, caught a dragonfly inside a jar. Fearful when the sky was full of thunder, and tearful at the falling of a star. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted pony phone. I just heard someone's phone go, mee, mee. I think it's my cat. Whenever I leave the house, he sits there meowing on the porch. I would love to take a quick 10-minute break. Do we have food over there, Mei-Ling? Yep. Yes? Oh, yay. Thanks to Naples Estates. And so, but let's make it 10 minutes because, like 10 after 6. And then we'll continue with a couple more Joni songs and then my girl, Joan Baez. Oh, he was so good at this, wasn't he? I mentioned earlier I was at Woodstock, and this is one of my very favorite songs. It was actually recorded by Crosby, Stills, and Nash, but Joni Mitchell wrote a whole different version, and she wasn't at Woodstock. She was in New York because she was previously signed to be on the Merv Griffin show. And that's true. And so when she figured out, like nobody knew what was happening at Woodstock, right? Everybody thought it was just like a bunch of hippies. They didn't know 500,000 people were going to show up. So by the time Joni figured out that she wanted to get out there, her insurance company wouldn't let her go because the rain had started and there was no way to get in and out except in a helicopter. So in her hotel room, because she was dating, I can't remember, I think it was Graham Nash at the time, she was talking to him and came up with this song, and she was never there, but it is the most impactful Woodstock song I've ever heard. So, Carl, let's see how my voice is gonna hold up. I came upon a child of God. He was walking along the road, and I asked him, "Where are you going?" And this he told me, "I'm going on down to Yasgur's farm, gonna join in a rock and roll band. I'm gonna camp out on the land, gonna try and get my soul free. We are stardust, we are golden, and we've got to get ourselves back to the garden." Ooh, then can I walk beside you? I have come here to lose the smoke, and I mean to be a cog in something turning. Well, maybe it is just the time of year, or maybe it's the time of man. I don't know who I am, but you know, life is for learning. We are stardust, we are golden, and we've got to get ourselves back to the garden. By the time We were 500,000 strong, and everywhere there was a song and celebration. And I dreamed I saw the bombers riding shotgun in the sky, and they was turning into butterflies above our nation. We are stardust, billion-year-old carbon. We are golden, caught in the devil's bargain, and we've got to get ourselves back to the garden. Thank you. Beautiful, Carl. Thank you. Okay, I skipped a couple slides. Joni's had some serious issues. She had a life-threatening aneurysm in 2015, and then this sounds so horrible. I never heard of it before. Morgellons disease. It's skin fibers and leg cramps like polio spasms. And I am so grateful that I am just young enough to have had a polio vaccine. Because when I hear about some of the leftover things, it was really sad. But she, at that time, said she just felt like she was being eaten alive by this awful stuff. And here were a few of her loves that we mentioned before, and James Taylor saying there were a lot of us. And Joni today, it's like she totally disappeared, and then she started coming back, and this is Brandi Carlile, who is her most devoted fan I've ever seen. And in terms of voices, Joni's voice, she's gutsy, and I'm really impressed with this. She can't sing high anymore, but she can sing low, and so she does. And she'll take a couple of songs and with Brandi, and Joni will sing literally an octave lower and sound pretty darn good, I gotta tell you. So she's still amazing. And anyway, Big Yellow Taxi. We're just gonna do this one because it's fun. It's one of her environmental protest songs. And Laura, maybe. Let's see. I love hearing Laura play violin, and I don't know if this is the best. And it's in E, by the way. I know it says G, but it's E. And Joni plays this like totally different. I do a super easy version. Wait, that's not right. What did I say, Kate?
Let's go with G.
I think it's no. G is too high. It's in E. I'm playing it in E. They paid paradise, put up a parking lot with a pink hotel, a boutique, and a swinging hot spot. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? Pay paradise, put up a parking lot, and you can all go. Ooh, ba, 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 ooh. see 'em. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? Pay paradise, put up a parking lot. Shoo up, 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 shoo up. Laura? You've got till it's gone. Pay paradise, put up a parking lot. Shoo up, 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 shoo up, 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 up. Late last night, I heard the screen door slam, and a big yellow taxi took away my old man. And I have no idea what that means. I always wonder. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? Pay paradise, put up a parking lot. Ooh, up, 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 up. Ooh, up, 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 up. Say paradise, put up a parking lot. Ooh, up, up. Okay, I think I can do this. Pay paradise, put up a parking lot. Thank you. I love doing that. However, had I played it in G, I would have been in trouble. Okay. Let's see. Joan Baez. She's my girl. She was born in 41 in Staten Island. Never occurred to me, I'm very tied into the community of Immokalee and the Mexican people. She's half Mexican, Baez, duh. But anyway, she's half Scottish and half Mexican. And she was raised as a Quaker, and they referred to her as the Madonna. She had the most incredible voice and very, like singing. I'm not going to sing much of this, but, well, baby, I'm not going to sing any of it. Oh, yeah. And we'll all go together to pull wild mountain thyme all around the purple heather. Will you go, laddie, go? And that's the kind of music she was playing until she met Bob Dylan, my guy. And then, all of a sudden, she was singing protest songs. And I have actually, I don't want to say criticized, but I have a vibrato in my voice that I owe to Joan Baez, because all I did was sing her songs when I was a teenager. So, but that they did call her the Madonna. And she was an activist and still is. So the first song, and I'll tell you this quick little story, I was at Woodstock in a sleeping bag with Rusty, who was my Woodstock partner that I met there and never saw again, believe it or not. And I'm claustrophobic, so we were way up on the top of the hill, and we'd fallen asleep in the sleeping bag, and there was mud because it rained. And when we woke up, Joan Baez was on the stage. And somehow there are movie memories and then there's real memories. This is pretty real memory. And Joan was pregnant at the time. She said, I'm fine, we're fine. And her husband, David, had just gotten a very good hunger strike going in jail as a protest for probably everything. And so anyway, the song that I remember her singing is called Joe Hill. And this was a labor activist that they framed, and in order to get him out of the way, because he kept organizing different workers around the United States. So anyway, this is called Joe Hill. We're in E. We good? We have electronic files that we share, but we use them for different things. And anyway. I dreamed I saw Joe Hill last night, alive as you or me. Says I, but Joe, you're 10 years dead. I never died, said he. I never died, said he. In Salt Lake City, Joe, says I, him standing by my bed. They framed you on a murder charge, says Joe, but I ain't dead. Says Joe, but I ain't dead. The copper bosses killed you, Joe. They shot you, Joe, says I. Takes more than guns to kill a man, says Joe. I didn't die, says Joe. I didn't die. And standing there, as big as life, and smiling with his eyes, said Joe, what they can never kill went on to organize, went on to organize. You want to do that? What you doing? And standing there, as big as life, and smiling with his eyes, says Joe, what they could never kill went on to organize, went on to organize. From San Diego up to Maine, in every mine and mill, where working men defend their rights, it's there you'll find Joe Hill. It's there you'll find Joe Hill. Thank you. My vocal cords are talking to me now.
It's a lot of singing.
I just realized, we're all singers next time. Next time, we can switch off. So, Baez. continued protesting and supporting nonviolence, human rights, and the environment throughout her life. And she was disappointed in people who didn't. And one of the men, I'm sure there were a lot of people, but one of the men that she was really upset with was Bob Dylan, who got married and decided to settle down and stop writing protest songs and stop singing. And I haven't yet learned the slightly wrathful song she wrote about him. But in any case, she kept doing amazing things. And civil rights was one of her big things. Look at this. You know, some of you remember this. I remember it from when I was a kid. Black people having colored, water fountains. And that woman on the top right, that horrible hatred face. I gave this presentation or this show somewhere, and I said I just feel bad for her. I almost want to pray for her because that's what she is down in history, trying to stop a young black teenager from going to a white school. But someone in the audience said they reconciled and they started a group, I think it might have been in Birmingham, and every year they get together and they re-apologize and they all understand now that there is no hatred now and everything's really good. So that really made me feel good. And Martin Luther King was very close to Joan Baez. At the last song tonight, we're going to sing The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down. And someone wrote me an email after one of these shows and said, they're very irate, would you sing that song if there were black people in the room? And I thought, well, I don't know if Joan Baez sang it. I mean, Baez, Martin Luther King called her when he couldn't make it to the marches, and Baez led the people and sang, and there were no problems when she was there. And so I contacted her people. You can actually get in touch with these people's people. And they said, what I said was, I just can't believe there's anything wrong with that song if Joan's singing it. And my friend Laura did some research on it, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. We're going to be there pretty quick. But in any case, she was an amazing advocate for civil rights and a lot of other things, and We Shall Overcome was one of those songs. Do we have that? Do we, Carl? Do I? Yeah? I kind of put together some of this stuff. You may sing this with us if you like. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that you very much. Okay, well, our time is not nearly over, but I did mention before, it's the reason I love her is because she sang Dylan. And Loves of Their Lives, Joan Baez's, was Bob Dylan. And he inspired a lot of songs that she wrote. He would be, I read a lot of history on them, they would be like living together and happy, and then suddenly he would sort of like take off or disappear. One time he was playing, and she introduced him. So I get a little annoyed with him about this. But she introduced Bob, who was a sort of disheveled messy guy down in Greenwich Village. And she, the Madonna, remember, she was really popular. She introduced him around, and then he became very well known. And he was doing a concert in London one time, and she was there and stood in the wings, like right over there. And he never even acknowledged that she was there, or never called her out, never, I mean, it was just, are you kidding? But Dylan is his own guy. And that is her previous husband, David. And today, she's kind of a little bit like me, where she says, I'm really made to live alone. I don't want to do this. So in any case, Diamonds and Rust was one of her least offensive tributes to Bob Dylan. And also was her second most famous song. It was also done by Judas Priest, a rock and roll group. And one of my friends sang this at a bar, and afterwards one of the busboys came up and said, "You sing Judas Priest, wow." Well, I'll be damned, here comes your ghost again. That's not unusual, it's just that the moon is full and you happen to call. And here I sit, hand on the telephone, hearing a voice I'd known a couple of light years ago, heading straight for a fall. Now I remember your eyes were bluer than robin's eggs. My poetry was lousy, you said. Where are you calling from? A booth in the Midwest. 10 years ago, I bought you some cufflinks. You brought me something, and we both know what memories can bring. They bring diamonds and rust. Well, you burst on the scene, already a legend, the unwashed phenomenon, the original vagabond. You strayed into my arms, and there you stayed, temporarily lost at sea. The Madonna was yours for free. Yes, the girl on the half shell would keep you unharmed. Now I see you standing, the brown leaves falling around and snow in your hair. Now you're smiling out the window of that crummy hotel over Washington Square. Our breath comes out, white clouds, mingles and hangs in the air. Speaking strictly for me, we both could have died then and there. Now you're telling me you're not nostalgic. Give me another word for it. You were so good with words and at keeping things vague. And I need some of that vagueness now. It's all come back too clearly. I loved you dearly, and if you're offering me diamonds and brass, I've already paid. Thank you. Okay. My voice is barely gonna make it, but you know what? We only have 2 more songs.
You can sound like Kermit.
Is it that bad? Let me use, the vocal cords are interesting. I'm not sure this is accurate exactly, but they kind of go up and down like that. And your speaking voice is somewhere in the middle. And my natural singing voice is really high, but I sang with my father a lot, so it's lower. But sometimes, if I'm singing high a lot, my speaking voice is really easier. So anyway, how is Joan Baez's voice? What a great lead-in. She said, I asked my vocal coach many years ago when it would be time to stop. He said, your voice will tell you, and it has. It's a muscle, and you have to work harder and harder to make it work, and they're tired. And poor Joan, she actually, I love her, but her voice she really has damaged her voice. And she put together a final album, which you can tell, her voice is really challenged. But in any case, one little funny story, I saw Joan Baez and Judy Collins. Judy still can sing. And they were singing somewhere on a stage. I don't know, I saw it on television. And they had picked a song and started playing, and then Judy Collins leaned over in a stage whisper and said, I'll take the high part. And she did. So it worked out okay. And Joni, now she likes to paint too. I think there must be, maybe I'll start painting. Maybe all of us will be painting someday. But she has a documentary called Joan Baez, I Am a Noise. And I haven't seen it, but I love this quote that I keep losing. She said, people will say Joan Baez is so courageous. I think that says, yes. She says mordantly, I don't even know what that means, but I like it, recalling her civil rights activism, speaking out against violent dictatorships, and enduring a bombing raid while visiting North Vietnam. She had the courage when she faced down the Ku Klux Klan. She had courage in Latin America, where they sprayed tear gas. And she had courage in the bomb shelter in Hanoi. But this is Joan's quote, the real courage came when she did this film entirely in natural light. Yes, and she did it. So anyway, we are just about, we are done except for one more song that I'd love to have you sing along with us. Okay. I think this would be a good one to end with. Then you make the most wonderful noises on the guitar. See. Virgil Kane is my name, and I rode on the Danville train till Salmon's cavalry came and tore up the tracks again. In the winter of '65, we were hungry, just barely alive. Took a train to Richmond, it felt it was a time I remember oh so well. The night they drove old Dixie down, and all the bells were ringing. The night they drove old Dixie down, and all the people were singing, they went, na 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 na, na 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 na. Back with my wife in Tennessee, one day she called to me, Virgil, quick, come see, there goes Robert E. Lee. Now I don't mind chopping wood, and I don't care if the money's no good. You take what you need and leave the rest. They should never have taken the very best. The night they drove old Dixie down, and all the bells were ringing. The night they drove old Dixie down, and all the people were singing, they went, na 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 na, na 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 na. drove old Dixie down, and all the bells were ringing the night. They drove old Dixie down, and all the people were singing. They went na 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 na. Yeah, you wanna? All right, we do have a minute, and I wrote this next song, and I love it. So it's I call it another Woodstock song. I have a Woodstock trilogy, but this will be the last one, and it won't take too long for those of you who are really hungry. It's called "Go Change the World." Where did I go? What did I do? Did I get lost? Are you here too? Use your eyes and your ears. How did you feel back in those years? Who do I see? Her hair is gray. Could that be me some future day? When I stop dying it, when she speaks to me, what does she say? She says, go change the world, it's not too late. Age doesn't matter, it's a brand new day. Time matters, start today. I can't stay there, I live here, I'll find my way, that much is clear. See the truth, forget your age, this is our time, this is our stage. Who will know peace because you exist? Who will sleep easier because you live? Do what comes easy, use your gifts. Go change the world, it's not too late. Age doesn't matter, it's a brand new day. Time matters, start today.
It brought back a lot of memories from my years of being young with that.
Oh, this makes me... Singing when people like it is such a happy...
She has caused me to step back in time. I'm of an age where I remember Woodstock, but I was overseas. I love these songs. I love all of these ladies.